Hello, welcome back to BSLIVE. Today I want to talk about Boolean modifier in general, and also I want to talk about an add-on called BoxCutter, and also how SVerchok add-on can change the concept of Boolean. So it's interesting. Boolean, right? If you have a cube and you duplicate it, and you want to do like intersections or difference, um, we simply select an object and then maybe like a difference it with another objects, which is cube number 001, and you get that. So in the past, Blender actually, if you're doing Boolean, you have to be in edit mode if you want to ever modify and to get the result. But in the recent Blender, you actually simply move an object and the other guy will actually change. And that's actually interesting. Let me show you. If this guy is set to wire, what I mean is that even if we are moving in the object mode, this will still affect the other guy, and it's been like this for a while. And this guy, if we go back to the Boolean modifier, we can change it to intersect. It's also interesting, and also we can change it to union. Of course, unions just unify two of them, and you can hit apply, or you can add more Boolean and the modifier will grow. So that's the usual method. If you have a cube, however, and you have add-on called BoxCutter, which is a paid add-on, but BoxCutter also changed the concept of Boolean in a, and I think I found it really amazing. So if you have a box and you enable BoxCutter, and you start to draw boxes, this will actually subtract from the original mesh, and this is really quite powerful. It provides some interactions, UI interactions of user with the Boolean cutter, and you can see on the right side here the Boolean modifier is actually being used on top of all this coolness. And if you're happy with it, you can actually apply all this Boolean. So you're done with it. And on top of that, the BoxCutter itself have other modes like, for example, you can actually union or join. And this one is interesting. By default, you cannot go in unless you, maybe while you're doing this, you go hit tab and you go to edit mode and you start to move things around, and then you finish with it. I think hit mouse. This one add Boolean union, and if you're happy, you just finish with it. And that's really cool type of modeling. You just can add a bevel and looks quite nice, especially with box. It's perfect basically. So that's things with BoxCutter. Now I want to talk about SVerchok nodes and Boolean. So SVerchok actually have Boolean nodes. However, this is different from Blender modifiers, but actually it can be faster if you are using Boolean modifier and kind of stack them together. I'm gonna talk about that maybe in the future, where you use Python, maybe a little bit of Python and building Boolean modifier like that. But let's say you have a box and you want to, let's say we actually have iterate matrix. So this is an interesting one, and you have, let's use a viewer draw. Let's say we connect this, tap V, box, iterate matrix, iterations, and this. So we need a matrix node here. Let's say we just scale it down and we increase it up. So this is one iterations. So that's 4 times iterations. if I bake this, we have a single object, but this is not not booleans. Let me save this. So this is sv boolean. This is not yet booleans. They're still, if you go to wireframe, they are stacked on top of each other and overlapping. We want to clean booleans, and if we want to do that, we actually can, and we can separate. First, we need to separate it. So in this case, we separate it into each different parts, and here we can use booleans. But we want to enable accumulate nested. So these 5 cubes will be joined together, and the result will be something like this. Oops, it says error. Interesting. So I need to update it. Bake. So this time the result is not overlap. It's not overlapping box, but it's actually single. Even though you can see the topology is a bit funky, but it's not bad actually. We can perhaps clean it up if you use limited dissolve. Yeah, see, much cleaner, and you can perhaps bevel it or simplify it. Oh yeah, not great, but this is something. I mean, there's that ugliness there, but anyway, we don't worry about that for now. We just worry about the form. So it's quite interesting. You can actually rotate the angle, and this is actually a single object. Let me save this for now, and there's another method. So other than join, you can also use intersect and difference, of course. Join is union. This is all Boolean, but a different type of Boolean. It's happening inside SVerchok. If you use difference, you get a whole. If you do it properly, you might get something that's like a little bit like onion. Maybe if you actually solidify beforehand. I don't know, I haven't tried this, but if you solidify, add some kind of thickness, intersect, maybe turn off this angle. Maybe actually we turn off only a final result, and we join it. Okay. Maybe not like this. Let's do it without iterate matrix. Instead, we're gonna use random. So we're gonna take advantage of this box with a matrix, and you can actually have lots of objects here specified, and then we still have solidify. Let's keep it for now. We don't need separate loose. We're gonna steal, of course, the Boolean, connect them, only final result. Oh, okay. If we, all right, this that's probably not a bug, but it's just a limitation. So we cannot do it like that. Join. So if we are using join, solidify is not gonna show up too well in this case. Just use box for now. Use solidify if you want to make maybe like a onion. So that's the same size of box, randomize, and you can hit bake. and this is a single object. It's inside is pretty clean. Topology is pretty bad, but it's pretty clean. Oh, this one you can bevel. You cannot smooth unless you probably add a triangulations. Maybe no. You can use remesh, however, you can always use remesh, and remesh will take care of those ugliness in terms of topology, because they are like just a square. Remesh can handle it real well. So this is like joining booleans. It's not very fun yet. So random factor, we can adjust the scaling. Okay, we got that. Here, instead of using viewer draw, let's use actual bmesh. Connect it, hide this, because with this we can actually use random. Let's randomize the size of the box as well, if you want. Random number. So the size, the count, let's have 5 for now. Plug this in. The size, float. Oh, okay. Interesting that we actually have 25 now, which is maybe not good. So I'm gonna turn that off. Instead, I will resize using this. Vector out. So I use this quite often. Probably it's a good idea to make some kind of preset. Math, scalar. Where is it? Absolute. So this will ensure the scaling is always positive. All right. So this is join intersect. Okay, we can scale this. Now they are joined. So this is, if I randomize the frame, I can have this the different result. And this is all unions. So you can actually now enable things like maybe intersect. Okay, intersect, not very beautiful. Difference is an interesting one, because it's accumulating all of this and create a result. Right. So now it's starting to look a little bit more interesting and a bit random. If you ever want to bake it, you can duplicate a copy one by one. And actually I found this quite interesting as well, because you can start to block out objects. And this is probably how you can come up with some interesting architecture design. Whereas even though this is more like form before functions, if you're doing like some kind of martial art, you probably you're kind of creating random movement, and then you turn it into something that's can be used functionally. I don't know, it's just an idea. But you can delete everything, right? You end up with this one. Some of them are too thin, or like this is not so great. Maybe we can do better here. Increase or decrease the cube, or change the scaling. Doesn't change it much. have more, okay, maybe less, doesn't matter. Sometimes it does produce something that's a little bit more interesting, but this is just the basics. So if you want to have a lot of these randomness very quickly, you can actually file. While this thing is selected, go file, export obj, selection only, animations on, create a folder, because we're gonna export this obj. It's gonna produce 250 different obj of all this randomness. Just wait a few seconds. Okay, done. Save. I'm gonna create a new blend, and in the file, import obj sequence, import multiple obj. This is actually an add-on. Okay, so you can find import multiple obj add-on. We have 250 obj here. Select all of them, hit A, import. Wait a few seconds, and we're gonna see some things very quickly. Cool. Overlapping object. Right. At the moment, it's nothing like, not very interesting. We can rearrange it, or we can also use SVerchok. Once again, this thing, right? I have this. So this basically just grab all the mesh. We have 250 mesh objects, and arrange the locations using this vector p. So now we have this. I know it's still kind of random, but starting to look quite aesthetically pleasing. So it's more aesthetic. We can merge the distance, and that's reducing the points actually. But I don't know, there's something here that's definitely can be useful. They're all separate. You can play around with the size. You can put them together like that. And you have some kind of randomness, but it's a kind of like maybe some kind of abstract city in the future. Imagine you're a character and you're kind of moving. This is in like video game character. Now I think with grease pencil you can actually start to draw wire maybe, or just draw a character here jumping around this environment. I don't know, it could be interesting. And the whole thing is procedural. So the Boolean is itself, of course. Look at the wireframe, not very clean, but however, in this case, we're not gonna be subdividing or doing anything strange with it. You can select all of them, join it, and remesh. You might get something. But other than that, I think this is interesting. Can be useful for some kind of game. Final Fantasy. Or Blade Runner. They're all, so to make this more believable, of course, things cannot just float. You probably want to create some kind of connection, and like the base and the maybe pipe or something. Maybe pipe is actually interesting. I'm just gonna save this just as an example for you. So this is like a procedural Boolean. It's baked. So we're gonna come back to what we had before. So this setup, this is just a basic example. Feel free to change it. So this is not very good, but can work, you know. So sometimes you do actually want to have something that's a little bit more manual, so you can put things together more correctly. To make it like more make sense. So this could be like an elevator. It goes up here. There's a stair. So manual way is always something. You can't just automate everything. So this is nice. You can enlarge it. Put it there. Some kind of building. You can always scale it. Yeah, so yeah, the whole thing, Boolean modifier, BoxCutter, everything, and SVerchok nodes, all of them can combine together. And I think it's a very powerful tool. You can add into your workflow. I don't know, yeah. But hopefully this is useful. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye.